Welcome back to the channel, folks. I'm your host, Fog. Thank you for joining another episode here on Fat Old Gamers. And today we are going to take a look at the sister or brother product of the AtGames Legends Pinball. It's the older sibling, which is the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade. And this is a pretty fantastic machine. There's plenty of people that have talked about it. I'm going to take a look at a couple aspects that really drew me to the machine itself, as well as we're going to take a look at some of the upgrades that I've made to the cabinet to kind of suit what I wanted to use it for. It's not like everybody else necessarily. We've all got our different thoughts and ideas around the best at-home arcade experience, and this machine's done it for me. I did have arcade one-ups at one time. Nothing wrong with those. I actually still have a Street Fighter one. I am looking at the smaller version of the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade, which is the AtGames Legends Mini Arcade, I believe it's what it's going by. And that will have a rotatable screen. There's a lot of information around it. But pretty much, I'm happy with this and the Legends Pinball. I really don't need any more. That one would be ultimately something for my kind of office area, in quotes, for the retro game business and stuff like that. So it's something I'm interested in. I would throw it down there. I would play some games on it, connect it the same way I've got it here, which is through the BYOG or the streaming, in-house streaming or in-home streaming to my Steam machine. I tried, and I talked about it before, that I was going to hook it to the OTG or that's in the OTG PC that's in the Legends Pinball cabinet that I've built. You can find the video in the link below to kind of see what that looked like. But ultimately, the issue there was the AtGames Legends Pinball, the main screen, even when it's not in OTG mode or when you're not trying to connect to that PC and use the main playfield, that screen still maintains a presence within the OTG PC, and it becomes really difficult to kind of manipulate the screens that you need to have for this machine to run off of that and vice versa. The best scenario that I've found in my case is to run it through the network, and it's all hardlined. So it's basically Ethernet from the Steam PC to the router, right to the AtGames Legends Ultimate. And it seems to run pretty good. And overall, I have a really solid experience, and I think we should kind of take a look at it. So let's look at the machine. We'll talk about kind of the upgrades that I've done, and then we'll jump in, and we're mainly going to focus in on the BYOG in-home streaming, or the Steam streaming. That's what I would refer to it as, and talk about that in depth. So let's take a look. So one of the first things you'll notice that I've added to the machine is the AtGames Legends BitPixel. And this is a nice display unit. I kind of think that they should just sell it with this. It's kind of one of those upgrades where it's well worth it when you see it in person or you've seen it on another YouTube channel. Obviously I'm not the first person to come up with this or to showcase it. Plenty of people have shown it. That's how I saw it. And it's hard to really see how good it looks and how well it pairs with the CoinOps X and something like the SOS 4.5 or 5 version 5 or something like that, where you can really see each and every logo being presented on there in really full color and in that dot matrix style, which is really cool. Now I do know there's an LCD version of this. Scott on the channel has one of the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcades with the LCD. I'm not 100% sure what it's called, a BitPixel LCD, or I don't think it's called a BitPixel, but I'll put the name below here. And that doesn't necessarily integrate as easy. It's not sold through AtGames like the BitPixel is here, and the BitPixel has its software delivered through the machine. So it's really simple. There's a video that I've done, a really short, a YouTube short, 60-second video that showcases how to put it in really fast. And it takes very little effort at all. And it looks pretty amazing. You can really get a sense of something unique in your home, something a little bit higher quality with this kind of BitPixel integration and display. Now, another upgrade I've done is the Acrylic side panel kit that you can buy from AtGames. And I initially, when I first purchased the machine, I wasn't too happy with the side art itself. Although I like the look of it, I was not really into the fit of it. And there was many people that have complained about that. But overall, this side acrylic kit, side panel acrylic kit, this actually makes a big difference. This added a level of quality again that just makes it kind of a must-have, in my opinion, if you really want it to look as nice as it can and showcase that artwork along the side. Now, I have thought about upgrading that artwork, but I kind of like it now with the acrylic panel kit. And the nice thing about this is, for my room, this is the first thing you see when you walk in. So it's kind of nice to showcase it and have it look as good as it does with this little kit here that they've added in. Again, something that might be interesting if they offered it, but if they don't, definitely understandable because of costs, but it is a nice upgrade. One of the last things that I've added to the arcade is this 5-inch riser from the Buy Stuff store in Canada, and it gives it decent height. Now, for me, I'm 6'1". This added in just a perfect amount of height for me to be able to stand comfortably, not to have a sore neck or anything like that. There's Yoda. And it was only $79 Canadian, and I believe that was shipped free. It does have that chrome T-molding that looks really nice, and it is, you know, form-fitting. It actually follows the curves and everything. The only thing you don't get is obviously the continuation of the acrylic side panel kit, but that's perfectly fine. For as good as it looks and as much height as it offers, it's perfect. Really enjoy this one. So you may have noticed in the beginning of the video that the control deck looks different than the stock version, and it is. I actually picked up the Legends Ultimate Gamer from a seller on eBay that was getting rid of them for $100 and added it to the machine specifically for the fact I play a lot of Mortal Kombat and more of the modern Steam games on here, and having the extra 2 buttons on each player definitely makes a bit of difference in terms of, like, Mortal Kombat, for example, the moves you can do, as well as some other games that require more of like a Xbox One or Xbox 360 style controller. This gives you that capability and really makes a big difference. And I don't play spinner games all that much. It still does have the trackball, but it's not something that I need the spinner for. And I'm pretty happy with everything that it offers. I've also added 2 additional Xbox One controllers to the cabinet that are paired with it so we can play 4-player games. I've thought about the Legends Gamer Mini and adding that in. That would be nice, but then you'd have to have 2 pedestals and it takes up more space. So just the Xbox One controllers do the job for player 3 and 4. And then a wireless Logitech keyboard, just if there's something you want to control from the cabinet itself that the trackball can't do on the Steam machine that I'm controlling through the in-home streaming. So we've taken a look at all the hardware upgrades, everything that I've added to the machine itself to kind of make it mine, and pretty happy with it. You know, use it daily, play it all the time, whether it's playing the games on the machine that's built in, whether it's doing coin ops, whether it's doing, you know, Steam, which we're going to take a look at now. Those are the things that I use the machine for daily and really enjoy it. It works out really good. You can see the pinball, Legends pinball over behind me. That's also used daily. So these 2 units are the units in the house outside of the 1-Up arcade machine that I've kind of modded out, and that's downstairs. So maybe one day we'll take a look at that. But right now, let's take a look at the rest of what I wanted to showcase on here, which was the Steam integration, kind of talk about that a little bit and talk about how the control deck adds benefits to that. So let's take a look. So probably the first thing to note here is that I have a ton of Steam games. Steam is my preferred platform out of anything to play on, specifically for modern games. Now, in terms of hardware and things like that, I really have enjoyed both the Ultimate Arcade and the Legends Pinball. Fantastic products to me. They made the most sense because, again, they don't take up as much space in the house for myself and my family, but in general, they have the ability to link up to stuff that I do use, right? Like that are, important components to my gaming setup and how I like to play games. So we're going to do some direct footage here that you're going to see. So I'm going to pop back and forth, but know that kind of everything is running on this machine that you see here, but off of a PC that it's linked to on the other side of the living room that connects to our main TV, and do a lot of gaming there, stuff like that, bigger games, cyberpunk, stuff like that. This is more my machine for shooters, for fighters, for platformers, side-scrolling shooters, things like that, right? That would be kind of traditional arcade games, but with that indie and newer design, right, in the modern world. So take a look at this. It's networked up to that machine. The layout, as I said, with the Legends Ultimate Gamer or Legends Gamer Ultimate, or however, I think it's Legends Ultimate Gamer, or maybe it's just LegendsGamerPro. That's it. This gives you pretty much the same configuration as like a Xbox One controller with your X, A, B, Y, your cross, and then your LB, RB, and then LT and RT. So that's what you get here with this upgrade. And again, it's great for what it does in specific games. So some of the first games that I've done, we'll jump into library here. One of the things I went out and did was I went in and favorited a bunch of games that are installed on that machine that I like to play. And even if they're not installed on it, they still maintain their position on this favorites list. And I use this to just navigate easier through Steam for the games I want to play on this machine. And you can see there's games like 99 Vidas, which is a more like a Final Fight or Scott Pilgrim versus the World type beat 'em up. There's Bite the Bullet, which is a great platformer from Megacat. Castle Crashers, which again, 4-player game. That's where we use the controllers. And Cuphead, if you really want a great challenge, start playing that. To Dragon's Lair, to DuckTales, which is a platformer. Then you start into the fighters like Injustice 2. We've got Last Blade on here. We've got King of Fighters, multiple ones of those. Lots of Mega Mans, lots of Metal Slug, the versions that's on Steam. Mortal Kombat galore, because that's my favorite fighter of all time. And then other games. And you'll see some pinball ones because I use kind of the same strategy for the favoriting on there as well. Retromania Wrestling. I know a lot of people have talked about that on iArcade. And those games that they're selling on there can easily be found on Steam. Now, whether somebody wants to go through that, whether they're optimized, totally different argument, totally different set of questions. This is just saying that the Retromania Wrestling, got to get that right, is available on Steam and can be played on the AtGames Ultimate Arcade if you've got it networked into your home network. And then just some other different games like Sega Genesis Classics. You have a bunch of Sega Genesis, although you can kind of handle that with add-on X and coin ops and stuff like that. You could play every Genesis game you ever wanted. So lots of games, plenty of stuff to look at there. We'll do some videos on like my favorite ones to play on this and kind of talk about, what really is the massive benefit here. But let's just jump straight into the matter of fact why I bought this LegendsGamerPro, which is Mortal Kombat 11. Again, Mortal Kombat, one of my favorite fighters to play across the board, and just to have this experience here, although it's not the crooked cross, control layout for the buttons, it does a fantastic job. It's playable. 2 people can easily fit on this machine. It's nice and wide in the sense of you've got space, and it just plays really well. I stream it. Roughly, this is streaming at 1280 by 720. So it's 720p all the time through the network. And I usually will go in, if I'm going to be playing it all day, I'll set it up as in this menu option here, which you might not be able to see because it won't necessarily grab it, but there's a menu that comes up for the cabinet itself when it's streaming, and you can set up the quality. So you can have it as auto, where it kind of adjusts based upon the bandwidth usage. Now, everything, like I said, is hardwired in the house from this to the PC. So it really doesn't have too much of an issue, but if you're going to be playing for a long time and you want the best quality, you can go in and adjust it from like auto to high or to medium. And if you're just really running into lag and stuff like that, which maybe would be because a lot of people are on the same router or using a lot of devices, then you could even put it at low to kind of drop down what it takes for the bandwidth to be able to push the game over to the machine. You know, you do get some digitizing of the image when you're at the low quality, and if there's heavy network traffic, it'll suffer a little bit, but the way I have it set up, barely ever see anything. It always runs on auto, and it's pretty good. So taking a look at the game here, we'll just jump into a quick match and just kind of look at, let's see, we'll do Rambo. And then we could easily start playing with the second player, or we'll just play an opponent, make it a CPU, and just go with let's just go with, who's Rambo going to fight? He can fight Arnold Schwarzenegger. There we go. But yeah, the machine looks really good. Again, it's not the machine that's running it. It's just basically a controller and a screen. But still, the screen looks really good, and it plays really well with the controller. And if you really want to, if you didn't like the control setup, or if you only had the controller that comes with it with only the 3 buttons, you could always just pair a 360 or get that new Legends arcade machine or Legends controller, AtGames controller, and use that, and you would be able to play it on here if you wanted to. It just gives you another TV, essentially, is the way I would look at it. Is that, you know, if somebody's watching that TV and I can't really play on the big screen, then I could easily jump over here while my wife or son is watching a show on there and be able to use or access that PC and play it on here on the cabinet. So yeah, you have all the abilities to do everything in this. You can block, you can do your special moves, fatalities, all that stuff, accessible with the 8-button layout, not with the 3-button layout. I'm sure you can get some idea of something that works. And I put that in quotes because it's not going to be perfect, but you could get some idea of how to make it work with the 3-button layout if you really wanted to. There we go. One thing I will show is if the control deck doesn't work right off the bat, there are community profiles, and I've talked about this for the pinball. There are community profiles that you can download just for free, and they're easy to access, and it's other people that have went in and polished the controls up for, like the Legends Ultimate Arcade or the LegendsGamerPro or the actual pinball machine. So it's kind of nice. We'll jump out of here. Let's bounce out, and we will take a look at, and we will take a look at the layout that you can go in and choose. Now, if we go down to manage on any game, if you go down to manage underneath your game and you go to controller configuration, you can go in and adjust the control pad for however you want it to be. Now, it's basically working just fine with the standard gamepad connectivity or gamepad template that it's working off of. But if I wanted to, I could go in and I could browse my own personal ones, my friends, or the community, which does have different layouts already done. So if we kind of look through here, you can see gamepads with different adapters from around the world, different setups. You know, they could have a different layout or something like that. Pretty much, I don't think that's the case. Just people putting their own little twist and changes within the unit itself. So all of these have been made. You can make some and even upload them into Steam. So that's all good and allows you to be able to play many different ways and gives you the best layouts for whatever game that you're actually playing. Some are better than even the developer comes up with, but most of the time developers actually do really good. So in here you can see my other ones that I use. There's the pinball arcade ones. You can see different variants of that. When I was trying to configure things, you can see Retromania Wrestling. There's a specific one for that I've downloaded. There's also ones, there are also some in here that you can find that would be very specific to the LegendsGamerPro, something like that to make it easier to toy around with. So once you've got kind of your controller and everything out of the way, you're pretty much good to go. You've got it set up. Your sound is pretty decent. I'll turn some sound up here. I didn't have it on because we were, just kind of talking and going through the machine itself. But if we go in, turn that up, you do get a decent sound. It does have a virtual audio driver, again with the air quotes. It does have a virtual audio driver that allows the sounds to be pumped into the machine. Again, everything seems to be in time. I've never had an issue there. Sounds really good, and I have no real complaints on that. We'll look at Cuphead. That's got some of the best music, best sounds. And again, just using the kind of standard layout. There's not really anything you have to do specifically for this because Steam does see the control deck as an X input controller. You can hear it. Hopefully it's picking up on my lapel mic. I haven't played this in a while, so might not be the greatest at it, but we'll just jump in and take a look at one of the levels. Let's look at this one. I'm going to do simple just to give myself a break here. But yeah, you're sometimes you have to mess around. You could even go in and configure things if you'd like the layout better to have like your jump, and you can do that in game, even with the gamepad. Oops. So like right now, like X is my shoot, which would be on a controller, and A is my jump. So it's a little bit like your shoot is above your jump. Some people might have a problem with that, so you just go in and make an adjustment, configure it to, maybe the A and B button, and you'd be fine. But I usually don't have too much of an issue. It doesn't take too long to get used to the layout of any of the games. I'm never going to get through this. But just to give you an idea, the speakers sound really good. It comes through. There's not much more to say about it other than to kind of talk about each of the individual games. And what we'll do there is we will actually let that for another episode. So, final thoughts on the Legends Ultimate Arcade. It's a fantastic product. That's it. There's really not more for me to say. I've used it now for probably 6 months, and I've had the Legends Pinball for probably 3 months, and both of those products have been fantastic. The ability to connect this to your Steam PC opens up a broad world of content, and Steam alone probably has more than 60,000 games on it. If you can't find something to play on there, I don't know what to tell you. But you've also got the 350 that come with the machine if you were just to buy it on its own and not connected to a PC. And you can get the machine for like $4.99 on sale from either Sam's Club or Walmart. It's not a bad deal. It really is not. There's so many benefits to having it that you can use it with Steam, you can use it with CoinOps X, you can use it with the games that are built into it. You can upgrade it. You can spend $1,000 like I did roughly with all the upgrades, the BitPixel and the side panels and all that stuff. Or you can just stick with the $4.99, $5.99 machine and be almost exactly in the same place. Be able to play a majority of those games on Steam if you connect it up and be happy as you can be. I do appreciate everybody that goes out there and gets home arcades. I understand the draw for Arcade 1-Up. I understand the draw for the II Arcade. I understand the draw for the AtGames. I personally went with AtGames because I am a huge Steam fan. but I would say that any of those are going to be quality products. They've shown that they can build machines. Any of the manufacturers can build the machines, get the content, license the games, get them on there. So I think all three companies, and then there's some other ones, have the ability to really find their place in the market like they have and continue to dominate in the positions that they are. I will probably stick with the AtGames stuff because of the limited amount of space that we have here. It's not like I have a room with arcade machines that can be in there and then we have other rooms to sleep in. That our house, much smaller scenario, we don't have that, but having the pinball and the arcade machine out here, anybody can use them. It's in our living room, kind of family room area. Everybody gets a chance to use them. So it just works out better, and we can have thousands of games on here, thousands of games on that, and we're, satisfied. It's not like we need multiple machines for Arcade 1-Up. Again, though, I can see the draw for that if you have the room. It's really cool to see the original artwork. In the IR Arcade, I'm a little bit more questionable on that product out there. I think I understand where they've come from. They wanted to have this walled garden experience with a very specific offering of content that you could continue. It's almost like mash Arcade 1-Up and AtGames together, and that's where you get IR Arcade. They kind of sit in the middle. You have those cabinets that have the really cool artwork and design, and they have this walled garden of content that you can keep adding into the machine instead of only playing the 2 or 3 or 4 games that are available on it from when you buy it. AtGames on the far end of it, you can play anything, and it's all a pretty good experience, and I've been really happy with it. So I went with the AtGames side, and I wouldn't look back and be upset. I'm happy where we're at, and we've got a good machine, and I'll continue to support their products. They've got some other things coming down the road that I'm looking forward to checking out, like the Arcade Mini that they've got coming, and all the other things that they potentially could be doing, like the light guns they were going to add for this. I'll probably be a first day purchase if I can. So that's it, folks. Appreciate everybody for watching, sticking through this. If you haven't already, definitely leave any comments you want to hear or want to see about this machine. If you want to see a tutorial on connecting it to Steam or what other games can be used with this, I'm happy to do that. I am going to make some individual videos that are going to focus on like genres of games and like top 5, top 10 that play well on here from Steam and from other sources. So we'll go through that and get that up. So look for those coming down the road. Also, if you could give us a like or dislike on the video, that would be great. And do us a big favor and subscribe. Come back, check out more stuff, because we're going to have tons of stuff on home arcades added in to the retro gaming that we do, to the live streams that we do. So please come back, check it out. We'd love to have you stop in and be a community member. So that's it, folks. Appreciate it again. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.